All right. Last but certainly not least, who's also very patient with us. We swapped Leon since he had to get out early. So James is going to present. This is James Donahue right here, Director of Partner Success with Clockworks. And he's going to give us a little insight on the Clockworks platform and what they're up to.
I don't know if I can replicate that beautiful Australian accent, but I will try my best. Is that showing up okay? Okay, perfect. All right, yeah, so my name is James Donahue. I'm with Clockworks Analytics. This is actually my second Controls Con. I was here years and years ago. Third time to Detroit. Scott hosted my dad and I at Joe Louis Arena to watch a Wings game. I'm pretty sure the Bruins won that game. But yeah, anyways. But yeah, good to be back here again. So the past 3 years I've been working for Clockworks Analytics, which is a cloud-based fault detection diagnostics platform. What I want to do today is to show off a little bit of our platform, but to also really highlight the work that we're doing with partners, controls and mechanical service providers, just how we're weaving our technology into their business model. So real quick company history, we've been around for a long time, 16 years, which is quite mature in the FDD space. The company was founded out of MIT via a research project. Those PhD students are our founders. They're still with the company today. Over the last 16 years, we have connected thousands of buildings to the platform. We're currently at over 500,000 HVAC assets that are streaming data into our cloud. A key part of our history here too is in 2021, we started our partner program, which is when we started to really set up workflows and business opportunities for our controls and mechanical service providers. So first of all, since we're all integrators for the most part in the room, how do we connect to buildings? We take a software-only approach to that connection. So no hardware gateways, just through a piece of software, we're connected to BAS over open protocols. So with Niagara specifically, it's typically we're leveraging the Haystack protocol to make that connection. From there, the data goes outbound only up into our cloud where we run analysis on a daily basis. What you won't notice here is any write back into the building. We're not doing any type of command or control back into the system. It's purely analysis. Once that data is up into our cloud, what do we do with it? We're unique in the sense that we've built up a global data model. It's a standardized set of code that applies to all the buildings that come into the model. So, typical things you'll see in an ontology, how to describe the equipment and the points that we're connected to. But we also go deep into design drawings. We want to know mechanical schedules and equipment information. We want to know sequence of operations. So ideally when we flag a fault, it's a deviation from design or a deviation from the intended sequence. The other part here too that's important for contractors is all this work is performed in-house by our engineers. Like, we're not a toolkit, we're not asking you to learn how to program or write your own FDD rules. Instead, you get to focus on the output, and what that output is an in-depth diagnostic report on every single asset every single day. And a key point here is, we're running hundreds of checks on every asset. Diagnostics to us is not just spitting out a bunch of faults to you and having you kind of tie all the pieces together and figure out what to do. Instead, it's correlating issues together, focusing on root cause analysis, so not only what is happening, but why is it occurring and where should a technician go to fix it. And then to focus on a level of prioritization. So there's a lot of issues in buildings. It doesn't mean they're all important and need to be actioned, right? We always want to look at what's the impact to energy use, overall occupant comfort, and the maintenance and reliability of assets. So that's our product. Just a key few things with our partner channel, some of the value that our partners have been getting out of the tool as this technology gets rolled into service offerings. Number one is just efficiency of workflow. So labor shortage, manpower challenges, we've all talked about them, right? Technology isn't going to solve those issues, but we can help make existing workforces more efficient. For us, it's pretty simple, like less time searching and triaging issues out in the field. We'll do that, we'll automate that for you so the technician out in the field can really just spend more time resolving and fixing high priority issues. So workflow efficiency is number one. The other is just increased value, and this is really twofold: increased value for the end client, but also for you as a service organization. So how can you realize greater revenue, longer retention of clients, et cetera? Really the big shift is to get away from selling hours, right? The service traditionally has been done with scheduled PM contracts where it's a set amount of hours that you're selling to your client. Instead, our partners with Clockworks in the background as a tool for their people are selling outcomes, driving more value in buildings, and hopefully seeing more pull-through revenue as they do it. The final piece final benefit I want to highlight today is just an overall shift in the relationship, getting away from this break-fix type of relationship and having that be the value that your client sees, to just getting to more of a consultative relationship, speaking more strategically to the businesses that you're working with. I'll get into an example later where we can see that come to reality. So I'm going to jump into Clockworks. Let me try to shift my computer over. Perfect. Okay, so actually before I get to the tool, the first thing I want to just show you all, and so you can conceptualize our partner program a little bit better. I mentioned this is our website, Clockworks website. So we work primarily with mechanical controls and engineering service providers as part of our partner network. Those mechanical and controls service providers especially, they're not selling Clockworks to their end client. Selling technology is hard and it often falls flat and it's focused on ROI, et cetera. Instead, they're branding their own a new service offering. It's driven by data, it's a digital service offering, but it's really putting the people first and putting the service that the organization provides first. So oftentimes that service is branded. I'll shout out Long Building Technologies, who's in the crowd today. They've branded their service as impact-driven service. This is a cool testimonial video from some of the work they've been doing at Denver Public Schools. I'll also shout out Gardner Data Services. What? Adam? Gardner Data Services is digitally driven service from Gardner with Clockworks just in the background. But you'll notice here there's nothing about Clockworks, and here it's all about the service that you all are providing, right? So to see behind the scenes, this is our tool, right? So the key things that we focus on, as I mentioned, prioritization is a key focus of ours. We believe first of all, if our faults don't have a dollar value on it, it's hard to show value to your end client. So avoidable cost is one of the key places that we focus on prioritization. Avoidable cost generally focuses on energy waste in buildings, so equipment running for too long, leaky valves, et cetera. We know that those waste energy. Because our data model is so deep, we're actually able to point out, as you can see in the table here, how many dollars of energy waste that those faults have resulted in. So really quickly, I have 6 buildings pulled into this list here. You can see what is the number one issue I should go work on that's going to save the client the most dollars. We don't stop short at energy in terms of the dollar quantification either. We all know that if we have a short cycling compressor, for example, the lifespan of that equipment is diminished. So conversely, when we tune that PID loop and solve the short cycling issue, we want to be able to relay to the client that we've extended a year, 2 years on that compressor, and we've saved them money in terms of delaying that replacement cost. Avoidable cost isn't the only way that we show prioritization, though. You can see there's these 0 to 10 kind of rankings, 10 being bad in terms of energy, comfort, and maintenance. I'll just shift the table here, focus on comfort, for example. So if this is like a healthcare facility, obviously comfort conditions in OR rooms or patient rooms is hugely important. So a technician or an engineer in a service company pulls up this list, resorts on comfort, and now here are the items that get rolled into the next service visit. And really what dictates a 10, what makes a 10 out of 10, it's the severity and the duration for which, things like space temperature, humidity, airflows are out of range. I'm going to pick, let me go back to the avoidable cost, and I'll just show you kind of what happens next. So once we've identified a hugely important issue in a building, an analyst in the service department in our partners' organizations will then take that deeper dive and get into the diagnostic report. And this is where we get into a lot of detail into what's going on with this particular unit. Those are our problem statements. You can see here the number one issue on this air handler is simultaneous heating and cooling, and we describe to you what that means, how many dollars of waste, energy waste that's creating. But then if you remember back to some of my slides earlier, root cause analysis is like it's a key thing that we do. So we're not just telling you what the problem is here. There's a lot of reasons why simultaneous heating and cooling could occur. So we're going to show you what are the possible causes that are causing that and where a technician should go to fix. So in this case, we're saying, hey, there's simultaneous heating and cooling, but you should go right to the preheating coil valve. It's that valve specifically that's leaking or it's stuck open. So hopefully you can start to see like, hey, we've saved some time here in pointing out a high priority issue, but we're also saving technician time with telling them exactly where to go to fix this issue. And this root cause, it's really just driven by all the data that we're collecting. So the next step that we take, which is also a time-saving measure, is we build up all those graphs and these contextualized groups here that a seasoned engineer would do in the BAS. I'll just scroll down to the bottom real quick and show you, here's our simultaneous heating and cooling. Ideally, this unit shouldn't have been heating at all, but that's that black line at the bottom. But we have a red line at the top telling us that the sensors are actually showing that the heat is on, and at the same time, our cooling had to run to make up for that excess heat load. And that root cause analysis of the preheating coil valve, well, here's the data to back it up. That valve is supposed to be closed the whole day, but we have a delta T over it. We can clearly see that valve's open and that heat is being thrown off by that coil. So something has to be done here. A huge issue, a lot of dollars being wasted. That final piece of the workflow is to create a task. And Clockworks itself has work order management built right in, where all this task management and dispatching to technicians can be done. But we know that there's a lot of work order systems out there that you all have already spent a lot of money on and standardized on. So API integration is something that we like to promote when we get into partnership agreements, and that's that little checkbox on the bottom left. So integrations to work order systems is something we commonly do, so that an analyst within the service team creates a task here, and it automatically just becomes a work order in the tech's hands, and they can follow through on that item. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of the software itself. I do want to take maybe 5 more minutes and just walk through some use cases specifically for our partners that touch on some of the value in the slides that I mentioned. So the first is really around workforce efficiency, getting more out of existing workforces, making their time efficient. I already showed you some of our core tools, right? Like the root cause analysis, the automatic graphs. That's a time savings measure in itself. But several partners of ours and some direct clients even too have taken it a step further and are now selling condition-based maintenance contracts to their clients. What we've done in our partnership is really help them go line by line through their existing service contracts and to figure out which particular PM checks that they're currently doing on a scheduled basis can be fully automated by our FDD technology. So things like sensor calibrations, filter replacements, even greasing motor bearings, right? These types of things, when we have the right sensors connected in, we can do it based off of faults instead of based off of a schedule. And the results are really pretty awesome. Like we have partners who have made decisions to never do another physical checkout again on zone equipment, for example. So unit heaters, VAV boxes, forget them. No more ladders. We're just going to rely on the FDD to tell us when we should get up there and service the unit. So that's huge time savings there. And then when we look at air handlers, chillers, boilers, we've seen 35 to 40% time reduction when it comes to monthly and quarterly PMs. And we've seen that across several clients. So we think that that's broadly like the statistic we can hit with condition-based maintenance on like a quarterly service visit. And this dashboard is an example of like what it looks like real life in our tool. So these counts of issues you're seeing here, like counts of temp sensor issues, counts of air filter issues. This is a dashboard that someone within a service organization would use when they're driving a condition-based maintenance program. I'd say the clients, your clients also benefit from this too. It's not like you have reduced hours on the site and you just walk away. We've noticed that your priorities can shift and you can start to, you can work on higher priority things in their building instead of wasting time replacing filters, for example. All right, so that was the workflow efficiency. I want to touch on just overall enhanced value for both clients and for the bottom line of the service organizations. So pull-through work is a key focus here. We want to make sure that we are having revenue streams available for the service organizations that we partner with. I've talked a lot so far about faults, like things that are wrong and broken, like the preheat coil valve, for example. But we also shout out opportunities, and opportunities are where the building's deviating from design and things like a sequence of operation could be improved. So this table here, it's a little small, I don't know if you can see it, but we're spelling out a lot of like cooling tower staging opportunities, spots where VFDs could be installed, low loop delta T, etc. I will dive into this cooling tower staging opportunity just to show you a little bit how this can really result in more pull-through revenue and value for the service business. So, yeah, this is probably too small to read, but it says basically some of the cooling tower fans are running at high speed while other fans are off, and it's usually more efficient to run all tower fans at the same speed. So this is an energy efficiency measure. It'd probably take maybe a technician a day in the office to program, a day in the field to download and test the program. So something you would quote to your customers as a small project and pull through work. So let's just say, that's $10,000, $20,000 a project. I don't know, maybe 20 is a little too high, but what we also show here though is the overall impact. So we project the annual avoidable cost of this measure here. So this is kind of like the cost of doing nothing. If the sequence runs as is over the projected year, what I highlighted there is $64,624. So it's going to cost that building owner $64,000 extra dollars in energy waste if nothing is done here. So it's a pretty instantaneous ROI if you go sell that $10,000, $15,000 reprogramming project. It's a no-brainer, and you can really just sell the value, and it's a no-brainer for the client too. So hopefully that lands, and it's a kind of a concrete example of how we're helping increase business value, go beyond that mentality of just selling hours and more preventative maintenance contracts. Then the final piece, I'll just spend a minute here, but that more strategic relationship with clients. So sustainability compliance, we have some partners that are in key states, key municipalities where local laws are being handed down around carbon. And what we've heard back is the value of saving carbon is way more impactful than the value of saving kWh on the energy meter, right? Like the penalties that are being handed down trump whatever savings you can really make on the utility bill. So this dashboard is kind of just shows some of the impact that the tasks coming out of our tool can have to carbon savings. We can automatically correlate like, hey, 48 tasks completed, almost 3,000 tons of carbon avoided. But really, it's about creating a long-term program. I think educating clients that maintenance has a huge role in carbon savings and sustainability. It's not all about just replacing your chiller or your heat pumps. Like a lot of clients, smaller buildings, K through 12s, for example, might not have the budget to do big capital projects. There's a lot we can do with ongoing maintenance. Here's a live list of buildings ranked in terms of how much carbon we can save. We click on that top one there, this building in Somerville, and I can just see, actually over on the right here, there's a low delta T on the chilled water plant going on. So here's something we can do tomorrow, a quick, again, programming fix, probably get some pull-through work out of it, but would have a huge impact on that client avoiding a carbon penalty in the long run. So realizing I'm the last one of the day, I think we'll keep it there, but hopefully you can see that we're selling more than technology here when we partner with service providers. We're really trying to get into their business and help them just drive more value. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, James. Much appreciated. Does anybody have any questions for James before we wrap up? Anybody? Does not look like it. All right. Well, thank you very much to all of our speakers. I thought it went really well, and very happy to be up here. Thanks, Scott, for giving me the opportunity to do that. It's much appreciated. So it's pretty much a wrap on the show in general. There's lunch outside from 12 to 1:30, and I believe the booths will be open till 1:30. But other than that, thanks very much for coming and sticking around, and very appreciated.